Hi, friends, it's Will, and I'm here with another tarot reading. Today, I'd like to do something just a little bit different. We are going to ask and answer the question, what do you need to hear right now? What message do you need to hear right now? And rather than choosing a major arcana card, what I've done is select the 4 ace cards from a deck. And each of these aces represent a certain aspect or domain of your life, of existence. I'll flip them over in a moment, but I'd like you to choose one of these, and then we will do a reading for each one. And I'll explain the aspects of life that each one covers or pertains to. I'll be using, uh, these are from the Conver Bendel Tarot de Marseille, and I'll be using this deck, the Jean Noblet Tarot de Marseille, to do the actual readings. So it's possible you'll choose an ace and then one of the aces from this deck could show up in the reading as well, which may or may not happen and may or may not be significant. We shall see. So let's flip these over. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. If you already feel yourself pulled towards one of those, then maybe consider that now. But first, we will have swords, will be number 1. Swords, and so this is the domain of conflicts, intellect, communication, decisions. If you have a big decision to make coming up, this would be your pile. If you are going through a conflict right now and are wondering about that, this would be your pile. If there has something to do with ideas or learning or the mind that is concerning you, this would be your pile. Number 2 is cups. This is emotions, feelings, relationships, whatever fulfills you. So if you have a question about a relationship right now, or starting a relationship or ending a relationship, any of these would apply. If you are experiencing a lot of emotions or feelings, maybe a new feeling and you're not sure what to do with it, what to think about it, then this would be your pile. Number 3, wands, also called batons or staves in some decks. This is about your passions. This is about what drives you, where you get your energy, where you put your energy, your movement forward. This could be career, this could be sexuality, this could be creativity. If you have a question or something that is on your mind related to any of those, number 3, wands, would be your pile. And finally, that leaves us with coins or pentacles in some decks. This is the realm of practicality, the material world, possessions, the workplace, your job, your living space, the roof over your head, um, your values, and how you can live a life that is in line with those values. If you are thinking of something related to that, then number 4 would be your card. Okay, the timestamps will be below. Please choose now swords, cups, wands, or coins, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, Group 1, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Ace of Swords for your reading, which tells me that you are thinking about something that has to do with ideas or a decision you have to make, maybe a fight or a conflict that you've had with someone, or maybe some kind of communication issue. So I've got my Jean Noblet deck here, and I have shuffled it thoroughly. It's the full deck. I'm going to continue doing a little shuffling just so that you can see that I'm doing it. And then I'll start laying out cards here in just a moment. Now, this is a very general open reading. And so I'm going to start with the question, what do you need to know right now? What message do you need to receive right now? And I'll lay out 3 cards to answer that question. Then I'll read the cards and we'll see if that generates a new question. I think it probably will. And then we'll lay out 3 more cards to answer that question. And we'll repeat this process of asking a question, laying out 3 cards to answer the question, developing a new question, laying out 3 more cards, and so on until we feel like we've gotten a fairly satisfactory response to our original question. What do you need to hear? What do you need to know right now as it pertains to the suit of swords, the domain of the mind, conflict, choices, decisions, arguments, all that fun stuff. Okay, so what do you need to hear right now? And I'll just leave the Ace of Swords over here to the side. So we have 8 batons, which makes me think of getting caught up in rules and regulations, things being organized, you're building something, but the way forward may seem kind of blocked, and maybe you are wondering how to move beyond it. Restrictions, trying to grow in a tightly fenced off area. So the 8 of Wands can also stand for travel, movement, swiftness. For me, batons is the fastest suit. They represent fire, and so they, spread like wildfire potentially. But there's some restrictions. So it's like you're trying to move forward with something, but you continue to encounter restrictions of some kind. And the Page of Coins. So you are starting a new project, practical project, job, studying. This could refer to getting your house in order, getting your workplace in order, trying out a new behavior of some kind. Like maybe you're trying to modify your behavior, like improve your well-being by, I don't know, exercising or getting better sleep or eating better. Coins can often refer to food as well. So, what do you need to hear right now? You need to hear that as passionate as you are in trying to move forward in your life, you keep encountering obstacles, restrictions that are hampering or preventing you from flourishing. You're growing, but only within the confines of these swords, whatever they represent, which is, I think, keeping you stuck as a kind of page of coins. You're having trouble becoming a knight or a queen or a king, whatever it might be. So your passion and your drive, your energy is very commendable, but you're having trouble getting past these swords. So I think the next question we need to ask is, what are these swords? I suppose that is a logical conclusion to come to, especially given that you did choose swords as the card sort of significator for the reading. So let's ask a new question now. What is it that is creating these restrictions that are holding you back from growth? And I'm not going to reshuffle the deck. I feel that shuffling it at the beginning of the reading puts the cards in a certain order, and now I'm going to read them in that order. So our next question: what is creating these restrictions that are preventing new growth, or that are have a stranglehold on new growth, so that even if growing is happening, it's restricted? What are these swords? Okay, so we've got 3 coins, which indicate that it's some practical matter. It could be money, right? Do you not have enough money to progress? And is there some decision or conflict that's happening regarding money? If it's not money, it could be any other resource, time. You don't have enough time, energy. You're too tired. You don't have enough energy to do it. It could also refer to your values, meaning, do you know what really matters to you? Or do you feel like your values are scanty? I think of 3 as, 3 out of 10 is not nothing, but it's not very much. It's not quite enough. It's not a stable number like at least 4 would be. Is there a crisis where you're thinking about what really matters to you and you're trying to decide that, and until you know that, you're not going to be able to flourish beyond a certain point that you've reached with the 4 of Swords? The Knight of Batons. So what are these swords holding you back? Scanty resources or values related to a Knight of Wands or Batons. So this could be another person. If you are represented here at first, one aspect of you at least, by the Page of Coins, another aspect of you could be the Knight of Batons. And so this would make me think that on the one hand, you feel stuck in the material realm as a page, like you're not able to grow materially in terms of money, well-being, values, that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, you are making progress in something to do with, could be career. I often think of wands in terms of career because it's something you're hopefully passionate about. Uh, it could also have to do with sexuality, right? Passion, fire. And so maybe you're distracted by that, and that is holding you back. Another way of reading these 2 court cards now would be that this is another person. So if you're the Page of Coins, is there a person in your life who is represented by the Knight of Wands who is putting restrictions on you, right? This would be someone who's probably, they could be a little bit like above you in terms of rank because they're a knight instead of a page, but they're not a king or a queen. So they could also be sort of a peer of yours, right? Someone like a coworker or a sibling, someone who's like on your, so to speak, quote unquote, level. And maybe their fieriness is getting in the way of your growth. The Empress. The Empress is, so now I really am starting to think kind of in terms of like a family structure. If it's not an actual literal family, it could be a metaphorical family, like a workplace, quote unquote, family, or even a friend group. If there's like somebody in the friend group who's a kind of mother person, regardless of gender. I don't think gender matters when we're looking at the court cards, or even, a card like the Empress. So this is someone who's a nurturing, caring kind of figure. But because the question for these three cards was, what is restricting you and holding you back and preventing your fire from sort of moving forward? And the answer is three coins and a knight and the Empress. So this Empress, I think, is maybe overprotective. Is there anyone who might be overprotective of you? And that overprotectiveness is preventing you from thriving. Like they think they're caring for you, but actually they're keeping you down. They think they're protecting you, but in trying to protect you, they're not letting you maybe make your own mistakes or figure things out. If they're so protective, then you will never need to sort of advance or grow up in any way, and so you're always going to stay where you're at, right? So, why don't we pull three more cards, and we will use those three cards to answer the question, what can you do to remove or mitigate, lessen these restrictions represented by three coins, not enough, not quite enough resources or values, the Knight of Batons, whose fieriness may be getting in your way, and the overprotective Empress. And these might all be one person or situation, or they could be separate, and it will probably vary from person to person. So we know the issue is the restrictions holding you back. We've identified what the restrictions are. The next question will be, what can you do about them? What can you do about these restrictions placed on you? And the answer, I'm just going to move these up, I think. Okay, so the answer, what can you do about these restrictions? And the first card is 7 Swords. Ooh, so you may need to cut yourself away. Cut, metaphorically, obviously, cut through the restrictions. See the way that this one sword is cutting through these other 6. You may need to make the decision to have a kind of conflict with what's holding you back, whether it's within you in terms of like figuring out either how you can break free to get more of the resources you need to grow, or to figure out what it is you really value, what you really care about, or if these are representing actual people who are holding you back, you may need to have a kind of sharp conversation with them in order to get them to back off a little bit or get out of your way a little bit. It is also possible, of course, that these two restrictions, the Knight and the Empress, don't anymore represent actual people, but they represent something you've internalized, right? So like this Empress may not be an actual mother figure, but it could be an internalized version of the mother that's operating in your psychology, and that you need to have some sharp words with, metaphorically speaking. The other thing I'll say about the 7, it can refer to deception. So like maybe there's some things that you could do that these folks don't actually need to know about, because they wouldn't understand it anyways. And if they're not going to understand it, then what's the point of explaining it to them if you know like they just don't get you? And so I do think the 7 of Swords can represent going your own way. Like if you need to be your own weirdo, unique self who's stealing a bunch of swords in the middle of the night because you know it's the right thing to do and it's what you really value, then maybe you just have to do that, even if other people aren't going to get it. Ooh, the Emperor. So, the Emperor is about having control, discipline, taking action. The Emperor is a man of action, or a person of action, and is also in a position to tell others what to do, like to delegate or command others what to do. We notice also the Emperor is looking forward. So I'll be very interested to see what is the Emperor looking at. The cards are saying that you kind of need to channel some emperor-ness, right? So be disciplined. Don't let things get out of control. If you are having sharp words with one of these figures who's holding you back, or with whatever they represent in your psychology, um, also stay grounded about it, right? Like the Emperor is in control and doesn't have to scream and yell and hit things over the head, although he certainly could. We see him holding that scepter. Um, he doesn't need to be defensive. He can be. He's got this big shield, right? But he's not holding it. It's there. But like he doesn't need it because he's so confident. Like he just knows. He's got control. He's got discipline. He's got stability, structure. Um, so what is the Emperor looking at? Strength. The Emperor is looking at strength. So these two cards very much go together, right? Because the Seven of Swords is about being your own weirdo, unique self, and Force, or the Strength card, is about having the strength, the fortitude to be that publicly, right? So if you are trying to make a decision about whether you can be yourself, the cards are saying, like, yeah, you do need to do that. Even if other people don't understand it, you need to find the strength to take a risk. It's very risky being this near a lion, isn't it? But she does it anyways. And the lion does what she tells it to, or not tells it, but does what she makes it do. So you may need to sort of get in the jaws of the lion a little bit, to confront these three things, these people or issues that are real or internalized, in order to fix this restriction issue that's preventing you from going anywhere, that's keeping you a page, because you should really be an emperor. Okay, I'm really happy with this, but something is missing, I think, and that is, what is the Emperor is looking at strength. What is strength looking at? And so I'm going to draw just one more card and place it here so that we know. And the answer is the World. The World. So this is getting the world. This is achieving something, attainment. This is putting an end to something so that you can start something else. I also can't help but notice the visual rhyme in terms of the shape between the shape the swords make and the shape of the wreath surrounding the central figure. In the World card, it's a kind of oval, and they're very, or an ellipsis, and they're pretty similar. And so like this is saying, you have to have this conflict. You have to choose, make the decision to have this conflict with others, to have the strength to be who you really are, sort of a level up from a page to an emperor. And if you can find that strength and take that risk, you're going to get the world. You won't be surrounded by swords anymore. You'll be surrounded by this lovely wreath and all of these great creatures who are looking adoringly on at you. All right, I'll stop the reading there. I think that about covers it. If you saw something in these cards that I didn't mention that stood out to you, please consider commenting and letting me know. I'd love to hear about it. And if you appreciated this reading, please like and subscribe. Let me know. And I'll end there. I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Group 2, and welcome to your reading. You chose Cups as your card. And so I've got my second deck here. I've shuffled it very thoroughly after the previous reading. I'm going to continue shuffling it now so that you can see me doing it and think about the question a bit and explain what we're going to do here. So you chose Cups, which makes me think you're interested in something related to almost certainly a relationship. But if it's not actually a relationship, it could be something you're feeling, some emotion that you're trying to understand. That would make sense too. Relationships, of course, can and often do refer to partnerships, as in romantic relationships, but they don't have to. Cups have to do with any kind of relationship that we have with others. So I am going to, we're working, of course, with the question, what message do you need to hear right now related to the Suit of Cups? I am going to lay out 3 cards from this deck to provide an answer to that question and to generate a new question. So we'll do 3 cards, answer a question, generate a question, deal out 3 more, and repeat that process until we feel like we have gotten a satisfactory reading here. Okay, we'll probably aim for about 9 cards total, but every reading's different, so we'll just see what comes up organically in the process of reading these cards. Okay, so those are good and shuffled. So what do you need to hear right now? All right, let's see what we've got. First card up, 6 of Cups. Ding, ding, ding. Cups, cups, cups. Okay, so let's talk about the 6 of Cups for a moment. Since it's the first card up, it's going to set the tone for the reading. 6 of Cups, notice that they're arranged 3 and 3 with these lovely flowers and foliage between them, as though they form a kind of path. You can imagine someone walking along this path. And so I think of the 6 of Cups as the path towards fulfillment, right? Like you're on the path towards fulfillment, which could be a fulfilling relationship, certainly, but it can be anything that fulfills you, right? Like if you think about what goes in a cup, right? It's like water that nourishes you, or wine that makes you feel good, whatever it might be. So the other way of interpreting this card, particularly in light of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, is to think about it in terms of the past. So that meaning does often operate with this card, and so that's why I'm bringing it up. Maybe it's not so much that you're on the path towards fulfillment right now, but that you have nostalgia for when you were on that path. And I think of that especially because this is the first card up, so it's the furthest left, and left being the side of the past, right? So is there some past situation that was very fulfilling that you're having some feelings about right now, and you're trying to make sense of them? You've got questions about that. It could be a relationship, could be something from your childhood that is surfacing again, that's coming up. Maybe your intuition is picking up on that, and or maybe you're even dreaming about it. and you're wondering what's going on with that. So let's flip the next card. Okay, it's the Page of Cups. So you're in the right place for cups here. We've got all the cups, it seems. So the Page of Cups is often a dreamer. I did just mention dreams a moment ago. Someone who is sensitive, intuitive, focused on their feelings, who takes life as it comes as opposed to planning everything out in advance, who is probably introverted and kind of shy in most situations, and someone who's creative as well. Uh, I also notice that in this particular deck, the page has covered the top of their cup with a cloak or a cape or a mantle, which makes me think of maybe there's a secret of some kind, something being covered up, covered over. And so I wonder if there's a secret in the past uh, that is playing a role here. Let's flip over the next card. Oh my, it's the lovers. Look at those lovers show up. So, ordinarily, I would say that this card is maybe about a relationship, but it also could be about a choice more generally or more abstractly. Given that you chose the Ace of Cups as the card that got you here into this reading, and so we're already thinking about relationships, and then we see the lovers come up, I'm more inclined to think that this is really about a relationship of some kind, and probably a romantic relationship of some kind. So, I would read this across as like in the past there was something fulfilling, and now you see yourself, dreaming about it, thinking about it, feeling sensitive about it, and maybe there's a secret involved, something that's not totally out in the open. And so you're feeling ambivalent now about something that once was so fulfilling, that seemed like it was on the right path. But then here you are, sort of like, should I stay or should I go? Is it this person? Is it that person? You're wanting something up above from the heavens to open up and tell you what to do. You're feeling stuck, unsure, right between multiple options. It's also possible this isn't necessarily a romantic relationship. It could just be something else in your life that was fulfilling, and now you're feeling like maybe you're not sure it is. Okay, so the question was, what do you need to hear right now? And the answer to that question is that what once was so fulfilling to you has become something you're very ambivalent and unsure about. So think about what that is in your own particular case. And I am going to develop a follow up question. So now that we know what the message is, this thing that was fulfilling and now no longer is, I think the next question needs to be um, trying to decide if we want to ask, what is this thing? Get more information about what this thing is. Or because this is such an open reading for all of you, it's likely to be different in each case. So I'm more inclined to think that we should ask, okay, I've got it. Can it be fulfilling again? If we've moved from 6 cups, the path of fulfillment, to ambivalent about this thing, is that like a permanent situation? Or is this a temporary situation? Can we get it back? Can we get back on the path to fulfillment? So I've got my deck here. I'm not going to reshuffle. as I've explained elsewhere, why. So, can we get back to being fulfilled by this thing that we're now so ambivalent about? Which is really kind of a yes or no question, isn't it? So, for batons, we're at a stalemate. Big X, right? Uh, there's a pause in the movement, right? This is the suit of movement, I think, wands. But the 4 is stable. So things that were growing, moving, the fire that was burning now has found a stability, a structure. And so it's temporarily, it's not burning. And so, or moving. And so, uh, I think we kind of have an answer to the question already, but we'll flip these over to see if it changes. And so I'd ask, like, is this a permanent ambivalence or temporary? And this, I think, is saying temporary, right? Like the 4, this is a stalemate. This is, it can also be like a moment to stop, reflect, celebrate with someone, although I'm not sure that's the case in this particular scenario. But it doesn't last forever, right? The wands get moving again. They're very fast. They pause at the 4, but then they get moving again. So I think we maybe could get back there. Oh, but the path is shrouded in mystery. The path is shrouded in mystery. It's dark out. The moon is the only thing to light the way. And because of that, you can't really see where to put your foot forward. You are distracted, or the people in this situation are distracted. They're barking at the moon and they can't see this thing underneath the water is coming out. They're not paying any attention to it. So, well, let's flip this before we even try to read the moon. Court card, Queen of Wands. So wands, wands, cups, cups, wands, wands, and 2 majors. So let me just look at this a moment. Interesting. So the 4 wands become 1. And in between, I don't see anything that looks like a wand. So, can the stalemate be overcome? Yes, if you can get past this moment of confusion and mystery and strong feelings and uncertainty represented by the moon card. With the moon, it's like there are hidden forces at work and you don't know, you can't tell like what is going on. The moon controls the tides. It almost in a, what people in the past would have thought, I think, was like a magical way. They pull the water, right? They attract. They pull things. The moon pulls without anybody necessarily knowing why. Although obviously scientifically now we understand and we know why. But the idea here through the metaphor is you're being pulled towards something or away from something, and you don't understand it, right? And so there's confusion, mystery, darkness. Path is shrouded. This path is shrouded. So you can get over this if we can move to a Queen of Batons situation. So the Queen of Batons is someone, I think, who is social, right? She likes to be in groups. She's the life of the party. She can be a whole lot of fun. She is someone who, I'm just thinking about her relationship, because she's falling underneath the Lovers. I'm also wondering what she's looking at, so we may need to answer that question. And I'm also noticing that we're not getting any other cups, because the question for these three cards was, can we get back to making that situation fulfilling again? And the answer is, it's potentially temporary if you can get past the confusion and mystery and bring some passion back to it, some drive, some energy back to it. So I need more cards to figure out what's going on with this queen. So I'm going to pull them. So the two court cards we've seen so far are Page of Cups and Queen of Batons, which makes me think the answer to the question, how can we make your situation fulfilling again, is by not being a Page of Cups who is sensitive and a dreamer and maybe keeping a secret, but by instead getting past the confusion by being a Queen of Wands, meaning going out, being honest, I'd say, with people, being around people. Maybe that's the key. The Page of Cups is quite shy, introverted. The Queen of Wands is the exact opposite of that. She's the life of the party, as I think I mentioned a moment ago. So, are you feeling unfulfilled and ambivalent about this relationship, or whatever fulfilling thing you had in the past? And what you need to do is like dive right back into the people who are represented by that. I often think of, on the Cups Pips cards, of these representing people, like a small group of people. So let's ask a third question. First was, what do you need to know right now? Second was, is it possible to reclaim this fulfilling situation that now you're ambivalent about? And I'd say the answer is yes, maybe if, right? Not certainly, but the Four of Wands says this is a temporary thing, but there's a lot of confusion and feelings involved. And you need to change how you're approaching it in terms of your personality, that aspect of your personality that is that you're pointing out towards it. I guess the other thing to think would be looking backwards versus looking forwards. If you're looking back too much on, oh, why am I not as fulfilled now as I was before? The Queen is saying, don't look back. Look forward to what you can build out of this, right? Build, because we use wands or batons, these like logs or sticks, to build stuff. So the third question then will be, what can you do to make this situation fulfilling again? And I suppose one answer to that question would be nothing, because you shouldn't go back. It shouldn't be fulfilling again. It should be fulfilling in a new way. But let's see what cards we get. A breakthrough. 5 swords. This can be an argument. It can also be a breakthrough of communication, especially if there's a secret like we saw with the Page. If something is being held back, the Queen is bold and courageous. She would not hold something back, hide something. So I think the cards are saying, it wasn't quite coming through to me earlier, but I'm getting it now from the images. Instead of of keeping quiet about something, and now you're ambivalent. You have to cut past the confusion, break past the stalemate by being bold, saying the thing, right? And that might hurt, it might cut a bit, but the situation is going to continue to be ambivalent until that happens. In other words, the 6 cups, if what was fulfilling was only fulfilling on the condition that something was hidden, then this was an illusion the whole time, which would help to explain the moon too. If it was only fulfilling because you were keeping something secret, then was it actually fulfilling? You're going to have to say something, communicate something with your words that breaks through that, and that is going to cause some defensiveness. Ooh. The conflict is increasing, 5 to 8. The good thing is, instead of the sword disappears and we get a little sprout of something here trying to grow up. So even though the swords are increasing, something starts to grow. And what happens to it? Okay, King of Swords. This is an authority. This is, well, it's swords, swords, swords. It's swords all the way down, isn't it? So it's not going to be enough. I see a progression: page, queen, king, cups with something hidden in there, a baton that you can prod with, and you can say, hey, there's something I've been keeping quiet about. I'm gently poking you with it. I'm gesturing to you with it, right? But like, I don't think that even is going to be enough. It's not a baton that you can prod with that's going to fix this. It's a sword. You're going to have to be, so there's almost like 2 moments, I think, here of progressing things pretty clearly. Cups, batons, nope, swords, right? Is going to be the only way through. So that's tough to say in a cups reading, but I suspect the answer here is like, how do you make it fulfilling again? Well, are you sure it was? Was that 6 of cups back here actually so great? It sure did seem to be. But if it was only great because things were being obscured, maybe it was not true. And so you need to like cut through the BS. That's how I would read these. Have a breakthrough that may involve some defensiveness, right? A lot of swords put up around whatever remains. And putting down your baton and picking up a sword, because even the baton is not enough. Let's pull one more card. I want to see what these 2 figures are looking at. So I'm going to pull one card. Whoops. And it is the Empress. So you need to take care of yourself. The Empress is all about self-care, right? She's creative. She can nurture herself and others to grow. She's also knows how to make herself comfortable, right? So if you are keeping quiet about something in your relationship, because that's the only way to not rock the boat, that's the only way to make it seem like you're on a fulfilling path forward, and now you're feeling really ambivalent about that, because it turns out that it's not fulfilling when you can't tell the total truth. So you feel like you've reached a stalemate and maybe it's temporary, but you're feeling really confused. And so you're prodding at this other person or at whatever is involved in the situation to try to get them to see the truth, but that's not doing it. So you've got to have a breakthrough by using a sword, a metaphorical sword, right? Communicate something that might hurt, that might be harsh, but that is true. That's the other thing about swords is they're all about the truth, and that's going to likely intensify the conflict from 5 to 8, but it's also the only way to find room for something to start to grow again. And above all, as you're doing these things, you need to practice self-care. Take care of yourself as best you can. And if the relationship or situation was only fulfilling because you were a page of cups hiding something, then if that's the only way that it was working, then it wasn't really working, right? If it can survive beyond that, if it can survive when the truth comes out, then maybe you could find a way to grow and take care of each other again. Okay, I will end the reading there. If you saw something in these cards that I didn't point out, I'd love to hear about it. Please let me know. And if you appreciated this reading, I'd very much like a like and subscribe. Let me know. It'll help to motivate me to keep doing them. Have a great day, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Group 3, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Ace of Wands, and I've got a full deck of cards here, full tarot deck. I've shuffled them thoroughly. I'm going to continue to shuffle them now while I think about the question and think about why perhaps you chose this Ace of Wands as opposed to any of the other aces. So, the question, of course, is what message do you need to hear right now? And because you chose the Ace of Wands, I'm thinking about whatever lights a fire under you. So this could be a career reading. This could be something to do with passion or sexuality. This could be something to do, if not with a career, with it could be a hobby that you're super into, that you can't stop working on. I also think of movement and travel with this suit. So like if you have maybe a vacation coming up of some kind or some kind of travel you'll be doing, the wands are a very fast suit. They like to move. They like to explore things, adventure, that kind of stuff. And so that might come into play here as well. We can also build things, right? It's essentially, it's like a stick, like a log, right? So you can build things with these wands, like a cabin or a bridge or whatever it might be. And so maybe you're building something. Okay, these are shuffled. I am going to lay out 3 cards to answer the question, what do you need to hear right now? And then, based on the 3 cards we get, we will formulate another question, a follow-up question. And we'll continue that process of asking a question and using the cards to answer a question and generate a new question until we feel like we have a satisfactory answer. And we'll probably aim for around 9 cards, but we'll just see what happens. We'll see what we come up with. So the first card, which will set the tone of the reading, is the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords. So she's got her sword there. She is ready to make judgments. She can be critical. She can be overly critical. She's the sort of person who is very independent and is not bothered by being solitary or alone. She's probably intellectual, rational, reasonable. She tends to be calm most of the time, and she favors deference, meaning when she knows more about something than someone else, she expects them to defer to her and will probably get upset, though she may not show it, if that person does not defer to her. She can also be kind of cold. She's very good at rationalizing things, but if you ask her, like, what are you feeling? Tell us about your emotions. She's much better at speaking from the head than from the heart. So this is a person involved in your situation. Could be you, could be someone else, could just be the personality of the situation. Let's see what we've got. Well, we've got some batons. We've got them in an X formation. So this makes me think of a crossroads, a choice that needs to be made. It could also have to do with planning something. So, like if we're talking about, I was talking about a vacation a moment ago, maybe we're planning a vacation, or maybe we are, or you rather, maybe you are making some plans regarding your career or a project or a hobby or something that you are excited about and passionate about. What is the third? So, Queen of Swords, at a crossroads or planning, something to do with emotional stability, which can also mean boredom. Like there is something fulfilling that you're not seeing, that you're not noticing. So the Four of Cups can refer to a home, or if not an actual home, then like a home-like space. I think four, right? Because it's like the shape of a building, and then the cups are what nourishes us, what fulfills us, and so that's why I'm saying home. So, is there a choice to be made about the home or leaving the home? And is the person who is in a position to decide something, to make a choice about the home, or this could be relationships too, right? For people in a stable relationship, or if it's not for, just stable relationships or emotions more generally. Is the person who is in a position to make a choice that involves these four cups, are they thinking about it, about their choice, but not in tune with their emotions, practical reality? Uh, that is what comes to mind. So let's push these up. So you or someone close to you or someone involved in the situation is making a choice or making plans about the emotional stability of everyone involved. So if this is a career, issue, then someone is at a crossroads, and it's a queen, so it's someone in charge, someone in a high rank. It's not a page or a knight. It's a member of the royalty, like a supervisor, a boss, someone who's in charge, who's doing this, and they're about to make a choice. Okay, so um, and it could be you, of course, too. So you need to be prepared for this choice, this splitting, this crossroads that is coming up. The question I'm going to formulate as the follow-up question is, how is this choice, or how are these plans going to impact the stability of the situation? So, are we going to continue with stability or not? And as I'm laying out these next three cards, I want you to think to yourself, are you satisfied with the current situation of things? In which case, you probably want stability. You want that to continue if you're like, yeah, this is pretty good. Or are you like, no, this is not working. It actually needs to be disrupted in some way. And in that case, someone making plans to disrupt this stable situation might be good, right? May not be comfortable, but it might be good. All right, let's pull some more cards. So, in what way are these plans or this choice going to affect the stable situation? What should we be prepared for? Another queen, but this time of cups. So, the Queen of Swords might become the Queen of Cups, realize that she hasn't taken anyone's feelings into account. And so maybe she's looking back and regretting that a bit. Or there could be more than one queen involved in this situation. One more rational, one more intuitive. Like this queen is able to sense, without even necessarily being able to verbalize it, how other people feel or are reacting to a situation. She can tell that someone is upset without that person needing to say it. This queen may not notice that, or if she does notice it, because she's very observant, she may not care, right? She may not matter to her. So how are the plans that the Queen of Swords making going to impact the stability of this situation related to the Ace of Batons? And the answer is it's going to reduce the stability from 4 to 3, which, I on the one hand could mean like something is being removed from the situation, like someone is being let go, one of the cups is being taken away or drunk, someone's consuming it. The 3 would suggest growth or the expression of emotions. But you know what it looks like to me? This is what it looks like. The Queen of Swords is making plans, making a decision, right, to do something with one of these cups. And so she picks it up, and she's got that cup now, right? She's put her sword down. Sword's gone. We'll see if it comes back. She's picked up this cup, leaving only 3 remaining. She has taken one away. So, like, somebody is planning to take something nourishing or fulfilling for themselves. Whether they're supposed to or not, I don't know. Whether they're entitled to or not, I don't know. But someone is taking one of these cups for herself or himself. Gender could go either way, could be any gender. Okay, and that will be brought to light. So I'm getting a picture here. Let's go with career because that's what I tend to think of with batons. You all are working on building something in your career, right? I assume you're not alone in this, right? Although you may work in a kind of solitary way. Who knows? There's probably a variety of this depending on each individual person. And there is some stability currently, but also things aren't moving forward. And so someone, could be you, could be another person involved in the situation, is going to remove something from that stability, creating a situation that is no longer as stable as it was before. And this is going to be illuminated. It's going to illuminate something, right? The sun card comes after the moon. In the moon, things are obscured. There's confusion. There's uncertainty. With the sun, everything is out in broad daylight. Everybody knows what's going on. So people will see that this queen has taken one of the cups, whatever they might represent. Like maybe she's taken a project, or maybe a person, or like a client. She's taking something for herself. So the next question is, everyone's going to find out that she's done this, or that they have done this. This person has done this, right? And so, like, if it's you, if you're planning to take a cup, whatever that might mean in your situation, just know that that is not going to be a secret. People are going to know that there's only 3 cups left. If someone else is planning to take a cup, what is that going to do? Like, what will happen? What will we learn, or what will others learn about this queen once it's been revealed, illuminated, that she has perhaps purloined a cup, that she's taken a drink for herself? I'm also just thinking, like, it could actually be someone who's drinking. Like, if there's someone who shouldn't be drinking, it looks like they're going to drink again, if that applies to anyone. Or they're planning to do it anyways. But everybody's going to know. It won't be a secret. Okay, so what will be the repercussions? What will be the fallout for the taking of the cup and it being out in the open? 3 swords. This is the first. So the queen's got a sword, the queen's got a cup, and now we're back to swords again. So a conflict, a little argument, maybe a little fight. This can also mean, swords are the suit of the mind, the intellect, and 3 is growth. So this could be learning. This could be the queen's going to learn something. Knight of Coins. This is slow but steady progress. Learning how to make some more progress. Very slowly but steadily. Oh. Page of Coins. So this looks like a demotion, or like someone who's maybe being punished, castigated with these swords, and she's not a queen anymore. They make her a knight. And then from a knight, she actually has to go down to being a page and starting over again. And notice like the size of the coin is the same. These are about the same size. So like this coin in front falls to the ground, and they've got another one, but it's a little bit smaller than the one they were chasing after. So they've just got less of whatever it was they had before. So let's see. Let's do a little sum up of this and see what we can get. The Queen of Swords is planning to take something, I think, which maybe does not totally belong to her, and that is going to, or even if it does belong to her, like maybe she just shouldn't take it anyways because it's going to destabilize the current situation. And I don't think in a good way, right? Like at no point do we see 10 cups or the world. We do see the sun, but I think the sun here has a lot more to do with things coming to light. So everyone's going to find out. And maybe she knows that. Like there's nothing here like a 7 of swords that would indicate deception necessarily happening. And this is going to lead here to, she's maybe going to learn something about it, but I think it's going to be too late for that. And so she's going to have to go back. Instead of sitting on her throne, now she's riding her horse and plodding along, very slowly making some progress. But then at a certain point, she doesn't even have a horse anymore, and she's got to walk the rest of the way. So some pretty major consequences for whatever the taking of the cup symbolizes in your specific situation that is destabilizing the situation from 4 to 3. Like, I think if it's you who's thinking of destabilizing the situation, reconsider because you will lose your queenly status if you do that. And unless you're like in a position where you're like, no, I want that. I really want to go back and start all over again. I would really leave that cup be for now. Don't go pulling it away because things are going to fall down around you. You will learn a lesson from that, but is it going to be worth it to go from queen to page? And I'm thinking probably it isn't. Okay, I will end this reading there. If you saw something in these cards that I didn't mention, please tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And please like and subscribe to let me know you appreciate these videos and to encourage me to continue to do them. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Group 4, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Ace of Coins, and I have a full deck here of cards that I have shuffled thoroughly. I'm going to continue to shuffle them while I think about the question and think about the Ace of Coins and what relationship it might have to the question. The question is very open today. The question is, what message do you need to hear right now? What do you need to know right now? And because you've chosen the Ace of Coins, I'm thinking that it has something to do with practical, material stuff, right? Like money, obviously. But if not money directly, it could be your workplace, your job. It could be your living space. It could be plans you have or results that you have or are trying to get. It could be anything that is exchanged, like ideas. We say that you have an idea, and we also have things like money, like coins, any of that. It could be any of that. So let's see what we get. Just give these a little more of a shuffle. All right, and we'll lay these down and knock on them, cut the deck, and let's deal them out. So I'm going to deal out 3 cards to answer the question, what do you need to know right now? Okay. And then based on what we see in those 3 cards, I will develop a follow-up question. And we will go on repeating that cycle, probably for a total of 3 times for 9 cards, but we'll see what we get. And then we'll go from there. So we can pull as many cards as we need to within reason. Okay, so what do you need to know right now? 2 cups. Here we have a meeting, 2 people meeting one another. We have maybe a relationship, could be a choice, could be a duality of some kind. 8 coins. This is putting a lot of effort in, making progress, although it's probably monotonous. There's a lot of uniformity. Things are very organized. Ooh, and an ace. Starting something new. So, what do you need to know right now? You and someone else in some kind of partnership, could be a relationship, could be a friendship, could be any kind of partnership. The 2 of you are making a lot of progress on something, right? Like maybe you're earning a lot of money, or you're getting a lot of good results, and everything seems organized, and everything is you're putting a lot of effort in, and you're getting it's paying off, right? But something new is coming. Something new is on its way. It's something fiery. It's a spark. It's something passionate. It could be an idea. And it's fiery, so it could, like, fire can be threatening. Fire can burn things down. Or fire can illuminate and show us what we need to see, where we need to go. So you and someone else are making a bunch of progress, putting a lot of effort in, getting a lot of results, and that's going to create a spark. Is it a spark that sets everything on fire, or is it a spark that illuminates? That's our question. What is the spark? What is the significance of the Ace of Wands? So I'll lay out now 3 cards for that. Learning, or some kind of little victory. So that makes me think this is a spark of illumination. 9 wands. 9 wands is an interruption. 9 wands is You've been going really hard, making progress, and everything's uniform and organized and looks good. Like you're stamping out those coins and they all are perfectly round and they all look the same. But now you are tired. And so one wand has turned pretty quickly into 9. 1 to 9 is a huge, quick jump, right? So you are learning something is piercing through, a thought is piercing through, and you're learning that you're burning out, right? Are you burning out at your job? That is what I'm seeing here. So that you feel wounded, so that you feel exhausted, you feel defensive, and you're like, should I just keep pushing or have I got to prioritize, take a step back, find someone else to do some of this monotonous, though maybe also valuable labor? And yeah, the answer is you do need to find someone else. So, what is the nature of the spark? It's you learning that you're burning out and you need a friend, right? Like this other person you're working with, you need to illuminate that to them. Like that needs to come to light. If it's not obvious to everyone, if it's not being communicated, then it's time to bring that out in the open. You're burning out. You cannot continue the way that you have been going because it's all happening too fast. The 1 to the 9, it's just too much too quickly. So let's see. Let's think of what else do we need to know about this situation? Okay. I'm going into this with the assumption that the pair of cups are the same people represented on the sun card. And so I'm wondering what will happen. Let's see. How should I phrase it? I want to be very careful about how I phrase it. Is the solution to feeling overworked and burning out, is the solution to communicate this to your partner? Okay, or like another way of phrasing it would be, what should you keep in mind? What can you anticipate? What should you think about in having a conversation with this partner, whoever they happen to be, about your feeling worn out or approaching burnout in your job or whatever this might be, right? Like if the coin situation here is your living space and you're trying to organize the living space or something and you feel like you are burning out on it, what should you anticipate from that interaction? So some destabilizing of things. From 8 coins to 5. 5 being change. 4 would be stability, structure. 5 disrupts the 4. And then like 6 after it would be an expansion that comes after the disruption. So maybe you may end up getting fewer results. If you feel like you're burning out and you need to communicate that to your partner, whoever the partner is, something to keep in mind there is instead of getting 8 results, you may be getting a change to 5 results instead, which might be fine, right? Like if you are overworked and feeling like you're burning out and you're learning that, then a reduction from 8 to 5 isn't crazy, right? Let's see what the other cards say, though. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Wait. Okay. Okay, I'm thinking there's a couple ways to read this. The first way I instinctively went to was burning out anyways, right? From 9 to 10, 10 being a great burden, right? But another way of reading the 10 of Wands is loyalty, because here we have 8 wands interlaced over one another that are being carried or supported by just one, right? That I think represents you, who feels like they're on their last leg and they're burning out. If you communicate this to your partner, you're going to have fewer results, but the two of you can carry the burden together. There will be loyalty there. I think like either of those readings is possible. We may need to clarify. Let's see what the last card is. So is it burnout anyways, or is it carrying the burden together? 2 coins. So 8 to 5 to 2. We're going to need more cards. So now I've got 2 questions. Is this burnout, or is this loyalty and carrying the burden together? That is one question. And then a follow-up question, which I think is less important, but that I do want to get to, I think, is what can be done about the steadily decreasing results, whatever that might be, whether the project is no longer yielding results, or you're running out of money, or whatever it is. So let's start with the first question. Is burnout here inevitable, or is this a situation where the two of you could carry the burden together? Is burnout inevitable, or is this a share the burden situation? Adapting. This flower learns, figures out how to grow amongst the swords. 1 coin, that answers the other question. Results are decreasing. 8, 5, 2, 1. And the first court card, the Page of Batons. Oh dear. So you're adapting. You're adapting to having fewer results. Could also be focusing the results, right? 8, 5, 2, 1 is like focusing into one big result if things are too scattered. The Page of Batons, let's talk about him for a minute. He is or she is an explorer, very passionate, starts projects and doesn't always finish them, so needs some guidance, supervision, direction, some form to their fire. So the question for these 3 cards is burnout inevitable? No. Burnout is not inevitable. You can adapt, right? And so then the second part of the question was, or can you share the burden together? So I think the sharing of the burden is possible if you can explore ways of doing that. If you can be Page of Batons kinds of people. Let's pull 3 more. And I'm just formulating the question. Burnout is not inevitable. You can adapt to it. Let's just ask, what let me think. What would it take to improve the results? The 8 to 5 to 2 to 1 coins decreasing. What would it take to improve the results so that they are not steadily, though slowly, decreasing? You know, they don't go right 8 to 1, they go 8 to 5, 5 to 2, 2 to 1. What would it take? Ooh. Okay, so 6 swords, 6 coins. Ooh, you can adapt to the lessening of results or money or values or time or energy, whatever your resources you're concerned about, and expand it again. Good, 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 good. King of Cups. This makes me think of getting some advice. The King of Cups is someone who has good control over their feelings, their emotions. They know how to have a good time. They are also sometimes the sort of person who tells people what they want to hear, because they tend to want to avoid conflict with others. So that is a little tough, because earlier in the reading, the whole idea was you're feeling like you're burning out, and you're learning that, and you need to communicate it with the 3 of Swords to your partner, whoever your partner is, work partner, life partner, whatever it is, friend. And now with the King of Cups next to the 6 of Coins, it's like, but the results can expand again if you tell people what they want to hear, rather than expressing the truth, which is that you have learned that the progress you're making is burning you out. What is the king looking at? The devil. So there's a very clear pattern or picture here of a partnership where you're working on something together. You are burning out, you're communicating that, and the 2 of you are trying to adapt to it, but you're not getting the results that you once had. Your sense of well-being is decreasing, or your money is decreasing, or you don't have enough time for each other, or you're not getting things done around the house or the workplace. And so you fall right back into the same pattern again of expanding the results. How? Telling people what they want to hear, being very diplomatic about things, saying the right thing, even if it means having to not express what you really think of the situation. And so you're stuck in bondage with this devilish situation, right? You're trapped with one another in a cycle, in a pattern, and you're having trouble getting out of it. So I'm not going to pull any more cards, because there's a really pristine, I would say, picture that's painted here. But what I hope you can take away from this is to recognize this pattern. If this resonates with you and you find yourself in this pattern, uh, the first step is just being aware that it's happening. If every time you're getting better results is only because you are telling people what they want to hear instead of voicing the fact that you feel like you're burning out, you need to question whether those results are worth it, right? Is the investment you're making really paying off? Okay, I'll stop there. If you saw something in these cards that I didn't mention and you'd like to share it, I'd love to hear about it. Please put it in the comments and let me know what you thought about this. Like and subscribe. Please help me to grow the channel. I'd very much appreciate it. I'll stop there. Have a great day, and I will see you in your next reading.